The house stood alone. Deep within the woods it waited, hidden by trees and shrouded in mist. Its windows, dark eyes watched. No one knew how it got there. Some whispered of a curse, others a tear in reality. It remained unseen by most, a phantom in the wilderness. But for those lost and desperate, the house beckoned, a beacon in the darkness promising safety and warmth. Yet none who entered ever left. The house consumed them all, their laughter, their tears, their very essence absorbed into its ancient walls. The house fed on their fear, growing stronger with each lost soul. It was a place of whispers and shadows, a monument to despair. Lena loved a good scare. An adrenaline junkie, she sought thrills in the most dangerous places. Abandoned hospitals, forgotten cemeteries. Nothing frightened her, or so she thought. Lost in the woods after a reckless dare, Lena stumbled upon the house. Night had fallen, the path long gone. The woods pressed in, dark and menacing. Exhaustion gnawed at her, fear a foreign tremor in her gut. Then she saw it. The house, a flicker of light in a window, an impossible sight in this desolate place. Relief, like a burst of sunlight, chased away the fear. She wasn't afraid, she told herself, just tired. She would rest, then find her way out in the morning. The house welcomed her with open arms, or so it seemed. The door creaked open as if inviting her in. Inside, a fire roared in the hearth, casting dancing shadows on the walls. A warm, inviting glow pushed back the darkness. But something was wrong. The silence. It pressed down on her, heavy and absolute. No crackle of fire, no creak of floorboards. Just a suffocating, unnatural silence. The air hung thick and heavy, laced with the scent of decay and something else. Something ancient and unsettling. Lena shivered. The warmth of the fire couldn't reach the chill that had seeped into her bones. A grand staircase spiraled upwards, beckoning her to explore. Each step creaked, the sound swallowed by the oppressive quiet. Dust lay thick on the velvet ropes lining the banister, undisturbed by time. On a dusty table in the hallway, a piece of paper lay alone. Drawn to it, Lena picked it up. Written in a spidery hand were 3 words: "Don't eat here." A shiver ran down her spine. She dismissed it as a prank, a leftover scare tactic from the house's past occupants. Yet a seed of unease had been planted. Her stomach rumbled, but the thought of food now filled her with a strange revulsion. The dining room was a masterpiece of faded grandeur. A long mahogany table stretched out before her, set for a feast. Silverware gleamed under the dim light of a crystal chandelier. Platters overflowed with roasted meats, glistening fruits, and decadent desserts. The aroma hit Lena with the force of a physical blow. It was intoxicating, a symphony of spices and sweetness that made her head spin. Her stomach, empty for hours, growled in protest, but the warning on the note echoed in her mind. "Don't eat." She reached out a tentative hand towards a plump grape, its skin shimmering like a jewel. As her fingers brushed against its smooth surface, a cold, bony hand clamped over her own. Lena gasped, yanking her hand back. She looked around wildly but saw nothing. Had it been her imagination? The house played tricks, she was sure of it. The shadows seemed to dance and writhe, taking on monstrous forms. She hurried out of the dining room, her heart pounding in her chest. The silence was gone now, replaced by the whisper of movement just beyond her vision. A soft, raspy breathing that seemed to follow her from the shadows. Panic welled up inside her. She had to get out of this house. Now! She stumbled upon a library, its shelves crammed with ancient books. The scent of aging paper and leather filled the air, a comforting contrast to the oppressive atmosphere of the rest of the house. Maybe here she could find answers. As she scanned the titles, one book seemed to call out to her. Bound in leather as black as night, its title sent a shiver down her spine. The Tenets of Time. She pulled it from the shelf, its pages whispering secrets. Inside, she found stories of others who had stumbled upon the house. Each tale more disturbing than the last, each ending with the same chilling realization. The house never let its guests leave. Lena slammed the book shut, a scream rising in her throat. She had to escape, but how? The doors were locked, the windows nailed shut. The house held her captive. She raced through the halls, each room a reflection of the last, opulent yet decaying. Mirrors lined the walls, reflecting her terror back at her 1,000-fold. But in their depths, she saw something even more terrifying. Glimpses of other faces trapped within the glass. The faces of those who had come before her, their eyes hollow, their expressions filled with an eternity of despair. Lena sank to the floor, her back against a cold wall. Tears streamed down her face, a mixture of fear and exhaustion. The house had won. It had taken her, just like it had taken countless others. She closed her eyes, the whispers of the house closing in around her. A cold hand brushed against her cheek and she flinched. "Don't eat," the note had warned. "Don't drink." But what about sleep? As darkness enveloped her, she realized her fatal mistake. The house had offered her shelter, warmth, and rest, and she, like all the others, had been too weary to refuse.